do not know how it will go. You never really do. You can put in all the steps, and they still sometimes will kind of blow up at first. Hey, I pulled the cinch off. I pulled the cinch for the first time without the cinch grabber. Look at that. Great job, girl. But my goodness, this horse was bred to buck. Wow, girl. You did it. Hey y'all, Nate Eicher from Eicher Ranch. Today, we're gonna attempt to saddle this horse that's bred for bucking. Is all the hard work that we've been doing gonna pay off, or is she gonna revert back to her old ways of being a bucking bronc? Hey, we won't know until we go in and find out. Let's get to it.
Well, this mare I rescued from a kill lot in Oklahoma. She's a bucking bred mare off of a ranch, originally in Idaho. She was shipping to slaughter. Was very skeptical, snorty, scared.
All right, the day is finally here when we get to saddle Sierra. At least we're going to attempt it. We put a ton of steps in the process to get her to this point. And she seems quiet. You know, in the daily videos that I do in the membership, we've done a ton of ground driving. We've done the belly rope on her numerous times. And we've just worked her through a lot of situations, but we've never actually put the saddle on her. And we for sure haven't tightened the saddle. You know, we haven't put it on her. We haven't pulled it tight, the cinch. And that's what I'm thinking we're gonna do tonight if she's ready. You know, I say that and I want to do that, but we'll see how the session goes. She seems really quiet right now. And that's one of the reasons I'm thinking it'd be a good time to do it. So I brushed her and, you know, rubbed on her and brushed her, warmed her up that way as I do every session. And so we're just gonna warm her up a little bit physically here by asking her to step around. When I saddle up a horse, I put a lot of steps in the process, and for her, she's not your average horse. You know, she was bred for bucking. She's a little older to be started compared to some horses, a lot of horses. And she had a lot of fear and anxiety issues. So we put a lot more steps in with her, and I'm gonna continue to do that. Just like today here, before I saddle her, I'm going to put the surcingle on her. Now we've done this quite a bit with her, and she's bronked around with it some. But my thinking is, before I put the saddle on her today, I like to pull the cinch tight with this, like pull it up snug. Good. That way she's warmed up to that part before we have the saddle on, because we'll be doing that again with the saddle, obviously. But if we have her warmed up to something like this, I'm hoping it'll go better with the saddle itself then. And I'm gonna show you how I break that down as far as the saddling process as well. I break it down into a lot of little steps. This is the part that she's a little bit leery about yet. When I first pull that cinch, so I just try to take it nice and slow. Good. So we'll see how she does with this today. It changes a little bit from day to day, but overall it's been getting more consistently better. Good. Good. When I'm working with a horse, doesn't matter what kind of horse, how tough or how quiet they are, my number one goal is to keep their mind good, to keep their mind quiet. And if they get concerned or worked up about something, I want to bring that mind back to a quiet spot. And there she let down a bit. So we're just gonna jog her around with this a few circles, and if she's good, then we'll start the saddling process. Good job. Good job. She's getting much softer through her movement. All right, so now we're gonna start the saddling process. And what I want to do is put this rope on the ground here. And what I like to do when I'm saddling a horse is teach them the ground tie. So we've been working with that with her. You know, obviously she's not great at it yet, but when I'm saddling a horse for the first time, I work a lot on the approach, and this is what we've been doing in the membership videos. Part of what we've been doing, this is one part of it, we've been working on the approach a lot. The approach has a lot to do with the saddling itself, and so if I can keep this horse's mind quiet when I'm approaching her, then she will trust me more when I go to cinch her up and all that, because that's always a little bit uncomfortable at first. Good job. It'll be interesting to see what she does when I throw that saddle on for the first time. I've tried to prepare her with throwing the pads and the tarps and different things on her back. You know, like when I throw a saddle pad on here, even when I approach here, I don't come in quiet. I did at first, but I come in a little animated and see if she can handle this. And see, she got a little tight about it, but she didn't move her feet, and that is huge for her because of where she's been. If you watch previous episodes with her, you know how flighty she was and how big of a deal this is for her. If you're looking for a great pad, Weaver Equine has this really nice synergy pad that I use every day. I use pads like this every day. They're contoured, fit your horse's back really good. Just a really nice pad. Good job. So now I'm letting the pad on her here for a bit. I'm going to move that around. When I go to saddle a horse for the first time, I'm in no hurry. You know, I put so many steps in, even in this session here, I'm in no hurry to throw that saddle on. I'm just testing her here in many different ways and seeing what she can handle. Good job. Then I'm going to go ahead and ask her to move around. And what I'm hoping will happen is that pad will fall off, and I want to see how she does. In fact, I want to see how she does when she's trotting and that pad goes to bouncing and falls off like that. Good job. Good job. Good. There's kind of bouncing on her back, and now we're going to ask her to turn and let that pad slide off. Great job. That's what I like to see, because if a horse is still freaking out about that, I'm not going to put the saddle on top, because it's just telling me they can't handle a whole lot of pressure. Many times we tend to, as humans, we tend to go to the saddle too quick, and we really cause a lot of anxiety in our horses by just going to it too quick. If we just break things down for them to where they understand it, it can make a huge difference. All right, good job. Now we're going to put this pad back on and start the approach with the saddle. Now this saddle here, it's an old saddle. It's kind of been repaired a lot of times. I don't use it for riding, but I use it the first couple times the first couple saddlings on a horse. They can roll on it or whatever, I don't care. It's a beat up old saddle. Now what you'll see is I took the stirrups off, I took the back cinch off, I took the front cinch off. I put it down to the very basics, and that's just breaking it down to another level, you know, to where it's the pad, now it's a rigging on top of her, without the stirrups, without the cinches. And I'm gonna approach her just like I did with the pad on both sides. And if she's trying to get away from it, I'm not gonna put it on her. So I'm seeing what she can handle here. In the last session or two, I've been approaching her with this saddle on both sides, but we've never thrown it up on her. The one thing I'm not doing is I'm not trying to get her used to a certain saddle. I'm basically teaching her to handle pressure in a different way. And this time, it's with something bigger in my hand, but we're not trying to get her used to the saddle itself. I want her to be able to trust me no matter what I have in my hands. All right, so now I'm going to lift it up a little bit. That was really good. Really good. Great job, girl. And then I'll switch hands, come in from this side. And then I'm going to lift it up here. And I'm just swinging it to see how she reacts to that. So that was pretty good. And there she's letting down. That's what I want to see throughout everything I'm doing. Great job, girl. This is so huge for her from where she's been. If you've been following her journey, comment down below and let me know if you see a difference in her from the last time you've seen her. We've been working hard and, you know, just continuing to chip away at it. It's not something we can force into a horse. We can manipulate them, but it's not what I want to do. I want to build the trust, and that's what we're trying to do right now. All right, so now I'm going to put it up a little further and put it halfway up her back and then pull it away. Good job. Great job. We're gonna try that on the right side, and if she's good with it, then I'm gonna leave it setting up there for the first time. Yeah, there she got a little worried, which I was expecting more of that. Good job. She's been trying really hard here. There we go. We'll bring her back over to the middle. Then before I set it on there, I want to have the rope draped across my elbow. Good. Good. And I'm just kind of bumping it on here a little bit. Good job. And I don't know how this is gonna go, even with it setting on here. She might blow up. So I'm going to step out of the way just in case she does. I don't think she will, but I expected her to be worried about all this a little more than what she is, to be honest with you. So I'm really, really happy with how she's doing. Good job. Now, same thing. I want that saddle to fall off and see how she handles all of that. That tells me a lot about if she's ready for us to continue. Good job. Now we'll ask her to stand here again. Good. Doing good, girl. We'll do this one time on each side. Great. She handled that really good, so good. There she's letting down again. I try to be really aware of that, because if she's doing that, There's some understanding going on. There's some trust going on. She's relaxing. But good job, girl. Good job. Good. All right, there we go. I really like that. I'll let her stand if she wants to stand. And then we'll ask her to move and let it fall off one more time. Great. Want her to see it out of both her eyes. What I don't want is a horse that's really stiff and rigid with that saddle on. That's bad news if there's a horse and we're going to saddle and they're just really stiff and rigid, because you know they're going to blow up and it's going to be bad. So what she's doing there by moving her head and turning her ears and all that, and her head is down a little bit, those are all great signs. Her leg is cocked, so great signs. Having said all that, it doesn't mean that she's not going to buck when we go to cinch her up. And I'm not too worried about that. If she does, it's fine. There, that was a really good response to that. Great job. All right, what do you think? Are we ready to cinch it up now? I think we might be. I'm gonna put this back on. Good job. And if she relaxes like she did last time, then I'll bring that cinch over here. Good. And if she kind of takes off here, it's fine too. That saddle would just slide off. We kind of know how she responds to that. So I'm gonna let her hang out just a little bit while I grab the cinch. With her, we need this big 36-inch girth. All right, good. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and coil up this rope. I want to be ready because I do not know how it will go. You never really do. You can put in all the steps and do it for a year, and they still sometimes will kind of blow up at first. If she goes to blow up, it doesn't concern me too much. If she's still blowing up in 10 sessions from now, then it's starting to concern me because it's becoming a learned behavior. But oftentimes they just show their discomfort a little bit. And we'll just see what she'll do with this. Good. I mostly have to be careful that I don't surprise her and she turns around and kicks really quick or something like that. I have to be really careful about that because we know how quick she can move. So I try to have everything set up just in case we get into trouble. Good. I'm gonna rub her belly with this cinch. You know, that cinch is pretty far down over there, so we're gonna put it up a few. That might work there. And here's where I really like to take my time as well. None of this is a hurry to get done. The only time I like to kind of push it is when the cinch is halfway on them. I want to get it tight so the saddle don't slide. But up until then, we got all the time in the world. Good. Good job, girl. More concerned about this. All right, so there we go. We got it up here. Now, now is the time to be concerned about how we do things. Like really make sure we are in a good place. See, like right there, my rope came apart. I have this long rope here, and that's all right. See, this is actually really good, seeing her move with all this going on and not being too concerned about it. Great job. This rope is a lot to handle, but I will not saddle up a horse without having a hold of them. And this rope is long enough that she can go to the outside edges of the pen, and I can still control her. Good job. She still gets funky about, like, if something moves too quick or what have you, so glad she's doing this now. I'm kind of moving the saddle up. And that's kind of bothering her a little bit, so we're going to do that a little more. Good. Good. Now we'll see if we can't get that cinch one more time. All right, you can see how bad I am with this rope. To be honest with you, I don't normally have to use a cinch puller like this. So this is the only horse I have to do it with. And so I'm not doing the best I could be doing with that rope. But that's all right. It gives me more time to mess around with her before we cinch her up. Good. So I'm going to continue to move this saddle around. Good job. The looser she is, the better. Good. It's all right, girl. Great. There, she's letting down. Let's try this again. Oh boy. All right, so we're gonna ask her to work here just a little bit. She's starting to overthink it. There we go. But all this is really good. The more often we can throw this on and take it off and have it fall off, the better. Good. Good job. Now this time we're gonna throw it on with the cinch on, so that'll be a little different. So there. Good. And that's really more of how I thought she would be. She just didn't show it real early. So what we're gonna do is ask her to step around a few more times, make sure we don't get tangled up in this rope. When a horse starts getting concerned, I'll change things up and ask him to do something a little bit different. Good. There we are. There we are. See if we can't get her settled down a little bit. She just got up a little bit and not real bad. Let her breathe here a few seconds. Good. I think we'll put this on from the off side. We'll just see how she does with it. It does have the cinch on this time, so it's a little bit different, and she notices that. And she's always been one to notice everything that's different. And that's why I put in so many steps with her. Because if we're thinking about riding her here in the future, we need her to think her way through things instead of just reacting. Because my life is at danger if I get on her if she's not thinking her way through things. almost getting to the point where I can reach in there and grab that girth on the other side, but she's so wide, it's a little hard to do that. So we're gonna pull it across again. And hopefully it'll be the last time, but we'll just have to see. Like I said, I'm in no hurry. See, there she got concerned again. So we'll just put that energy into something else. Have her step around here a few times. Then the other thing I'm going to do is put this around her belly. And that's what's concerning, is that coming up on her belly again. Good. Just wait for her to relax as we're doing this. The fact that I can rub her belly like this, couldn't do that a while ago. She would have kicked me. So we'll pull this up where the girth would be, like we had the surcingle. Very good. We'll try it again. Every time we do it, it's another experience. It's another time on her back. Good. Try to get really animated with this throw. I don't want to sneak it on her. Good job. There we go. We'll pull the cinch down on this side. How's that, girl? A little better? Good job. Hey, I pulled the cinch off. I pulled the cinch for the first time without the cinch grabber. That's huge progress for her. That's part of what scares her. The other part is this latigo here. All right. See if we can't keep her somewhat settled here. All right, it's cinched up for the first time. So I'm going to step away from this and see if she'll relax. If she does, I'll cinch it up a little bit more. It's a little, It's definitely a little bit snug. I don't think the saddle will roll. That's definitely don't want that. Good, 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 good. I'm going to see if I can't snug it up just a little bit more. There we go. And then I like to step away and see if she'll relax. I don't want her turning in toward me, because if she goes to bronching a little bit, hey, there we go. Hey, look at that, she's licking. First time we cinched her up and she took a few trot steps, now she's licking. Look at that. Great job, girl. Now we're gonna ask her to move this way as slow as possible, but I want to be aware here, because when she starts to feel those things move on the side, she might just blow up for a few strides at least. I'm going to try to talk her out of it pretty quick if she does. But I'm really, really liking what she's doing here. The biggest ordeal tonight so far was getting that cinch up underneath, and it was mostly that polar thing I use. She's just a little leery of that yet. I'm loving this. Wow. Now what I like to do is check this. There, she's letting down again. She's like, hey, this is just fine. Make sure this is snug enough. There we go. I can't emphasize that part enough. You want it a little too tight rather than too loose, because if that saddle slides, we're back months and months of training, because it'll scare her so bad. So we want to make sure we're tight. Great job. Now that we've walked her a bit, I'm thinking about asking her to trot just to see how she does with things flopping on her. That's going to be the test. And we don't have the stirrups on, so it's nothing too much, but that's why I really like to break it down into steps. So if they can handle this, I'll add some more. But my goodness, this horse was bred to buck, and we changed her mind. She's a different horse. That's what I'm talking about. Great job, girl. Look pretty good on her saddle. It's like, yeah, I know. All right, one final test here. We're gonna ask her for a lead departure and see how she handles that. Oh yeah, great. She don't have to keep loping. I just want a nice lead departure on each direction here. Good job. Wow, girl. You did it. You did it. Great job. Well, let me know what y'all think about this whole deal. Do you think she'll buck when we put the back cinch on and put the stirrups on? What do you think? Let me know in the comments, and I'm gonna keep chipping away at her. I think this was a really, really good, solid session for her. Depending on how it would have gone, I would have added the stirrups and the back cinch, but because it took a while for her to get comfortable with this, getting the saddle on and her being good with it and pulling the cinch up and all that, I don't want to push it too far tonight. I'm going to reward her for the great tries that she's given me, and we're going to let her wear the saddle here the next 20 minutes or so. Then I'll take it off and let her hang out for the night. But wow, what a great session. Couldn't be happier with her. I didn't know if we would see a rodeo or what, but we might still. But tonight she showed us that we've changed her mind, and that's what it's all about. Building a quiet-minded horse, and even one that's bred for bucking can be trained. Hey, thank you all for watching. I'll see y'all in the next episode. Good job. What do you think, girl?